Hello, fellow wargamers and history buffs. Today we have a quick unboxing of the second edition expansion. This is from Clash of Arms Games, and this is their La Bataille de Wavre. This is the battle that takes place June the 18th and 19th of 1815. And it's basically happening the same day that the Battle of Waterloo is taking place. The box itself is very nice cover art and a nice sort of linen finish to it. On the back, we've got some information about the game, and of course it does tell you to play with this you need to have La Bataille de Ligny or the deluxe edition of Mont, because this just comes with the map and the booklet and whatnot, but it doesn't come with any of the counters. So you're going to need the Prussian and French counters from those two games, or one or the other, in order to play with this. Now, a quick disclosure before we go into the unboxing. I do want to let everybody know that I was involved with the play testing for many of the scenarios for this. And so I received this copy as a thank you from Ed Wimble for my efforts. So just so you know where I'm coming from. All right, let's continue on with opening it up and see what we've got inside. All right, so it looks like we've got a map, and we'll take a look at this in some more detail in a minute. And we've got a second map here. And then here we've got the exclusive rules and scenario booklet. So very nice cover art here. And it looks like it's got everything here with the particulars for what's going on, and command and combat and terrain and all that good stuff. The booklet itself is full color, and it's got a nice sort of, I guess, slick feel to it and glossy finish. So very similar to what Clash of Arms has put out in the last several years or so. We can talk a little bit more about some of the scenarios in a minute, but let's take a look and see what else we've got in the box. All right, it looks like we've got some charts here. We have a movement chart, and let's see, on the other side we've got information about the depots and some combat information there. We've got another chart here, which is our terrain key, explaining what's what on the map. Let's see, over here we've got a basically it looks like a map that if you wanted to have units from Wavre move over to Mont, you're going to follow along here, along this pathway, and then they would show up at the Mont map, either in the north there on the Ohain Highway, or over there on the eastern side of the map. So that's there for that. Let's see, what else have we got here? We've got a, looks like organizational command information here for the French army. And here on the back, sort of command chart here for the Prussian army. All right, we've got an advertisement for the Legion of Honor. This is a fun card game. I've got it, but I've never played it. And then last but not least, it looks like we've got a little, one of these little card games. Yeah, interesting. Okay. All right, that's what's in the box. Let's take a look at the map. Okay, so here we're looking at the map in some detail, and here we're looking at the village of Wavre, and we can see that the map itself, the artwork, mimics the style of artwork that Clash of Arms has done in all of their second edition versions of the 100 Days battles. So this is going to match up with the same type of artwork in Quatre-Bras, Ligny, and Mont. Here we've got the different special structures. We've got the Dial River here, and you can see all the really nice detail with the different forests and buildings and churches and all that jazz. This is two maps that come together, and they fit very nicely together. No issues with that. Altogether, it measures out about 33 inches wide and about 44 inches high. So it's a sort of a bit of a rectangle. Fits on the board, on the table fairly well. And here we've got the French are coming in here in the south and making their way up the highway towards Brussels, where they've got to get past the waiting Prussians. Now, there's a couple of things of interest with this second edition version. So aside from maybe some changes to the map, obviously changes artistically with the map, and a very nice rule set, the other thing that has changed is that new research has come to light over the course of the last 30 years since the first edition had been published, indicating that the French had the opportunity to cross the dial other than just at the bridges. So for those of us who had the first edition and we played it, it tended to be a very tedious game because the French could only cross at the bridges, the Prussians could burn a number of the bridges, and so you basically spend your time trying to, use artillery to push the Prussians off and then trying to assault, and it was just over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually you get across, and then you get kicked back again. And so I think I played the first edition maybe twice, and then it went up on my shelf and had never come down since. So with this new research that's come to light, the French have an opportunity to actually cross the dial at some of these other spots, other than purely at the bridges. And this makes for the game much more opportunities and much more challenging, obviously, for the Prussians, but gives more opportunities for the French and makes it a much more dynamic game than the first edition. One of the other things that is of great interest is that there is a new hypothetical scenario, which would be what would have happened if Marshal Davout was in command of the French left wing instead of Grouchy. And of course the idea is that Davout wouldn't have let everybody sleep in. He would have been getting people up and out and on the march much earlier, and as a result would have caught the Prussians in the embarrassing position where they're trying to get across the river, and then whether they could send anybody to Mont would have been probably very unlikely. So this is a very interesting variant and looks to be a very entertaining one for the French, something that they can play. You basically have the entire, French army of this sort of left wing, right wing, up against the entire Prussian army. And so it should be an interesting slug match. Well, that is our quick overview of the second edition La Bataille de Wavre from Clash of Arms Games. If you have the first or second edition of Ligny, or you've got the deluxe edition of Mont, you'll be able to play this game. If you are interested in learning more about how tactics during this time period can be simulated in your plays of La Bataille or other Napoleonic games, you might want to check out the tactics talks that my friend Brendan Close and I did. There will be a link appearing shortly. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by making a donation or joining our monthly membership as a line infantry, young guard, or old guard at buymeacoffee.com. Link is below. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to make those in the section below, and I do my best to answer them. And until our next episode, everybody, keep gaming and be well.